What's good, internet? My name is attackslug. Welcome back to WWE 2K15 in 2021 on the PS5 because, hey, why not? And currently, I've been marked for justice by the Hounds of Justice. The Shield have put me as their #1 target. So let's continue here and see what transpires, shall we? You just don't learn, do you? Let's see you pull it off in a real match. Face to face. Or, is that all you got? Your beatings are nothing to me. Let's try option 2. Well then, you know how this week's gonna go. Yeah, I know. Beatings. El Hondero back in the building. That NXT Lucha feud.
Dean Ambrose has a different plan for him tonight.
Yeah, I guess he's playing the role of general manager tonight, making his own matchup.
Yeah. Sure, that's fine. Bring it on, Dino. Lunatic Fringe. Let's get down to business. I have fired Roman Reigns. You may notice. In my corner is Sir William Regal, because Roman cannot be trusted, clearly, to be an impartial anything, and kept flip-flopping like the Big Show. So I got no need for a Big Show in my corner. Now then, welcome to Thursday. We have some news here before I get into AEW and NXT from last night, and that news concerns the Hall of Fame. Not one, but 2 Hall of Fame announcements happened yesterday. The first of which being the Big Red Machine, the Monster Kane. That's gotta be Kane! Going into the Hall of Fame. Well-deserved, but surprising to see him go in before Taker does. That's kind of crazy. But Mayor Kane going into the Hall of Fame. I would imagine next year, Mania, being in Texas, would mean that Taker goes into the Hall of Fame next year. And if we don't see Batista in next year, the year after that is in Hollywood, and that's Batista's territory these days, so yeah, that makes sense there. Unless they could somehow get The Rock that year, and then yeah, sure. Or we're going to see The Rock and Roman at Mania that year. Either way, things could transpire. Doings are transpiring with that. Now, on the flip side of a very tall Hall of Fame induction, after Kane, who obviously is very tall, even taller, is the Great Khali going into the Hall of Fame. And I know what you're thinking. Really? Great Khali. But what he did for the nation of India in terms of spreading the word of wrestling, like, that cannot be understated. How much he did for a whole country with 1.3 billion people to get them into wrestling. So, yes, put Khali into the Hall of Fame. Also, we know it's not a real Hall of Fame. There's no building. Like, it's just whoever Vince wants to put in there for their contributions to this beyondness, and whoever he's not currently having a problem with. There we go. All right, there. And then hit that Sig. Woo! And then pick up Dino. And hit that Slug Sploder going to town. Regal loves to see it. Loves to see it. So there we go with that bit of weirdness. The power pen. 1, 2, 3. And Dean Ambrose, bye-bye. I will dismantle the Shield 1 by 1. 4.5 stars. Oh, you think that was funny? Guess what? You're facing one of us on pay-per-view. See you there. Is it gonna be Roman? Make him look strong? So the 4th week of February on pay-per-view. Which show is that? The Chamber. And it is indeed the big dog, head of the table, Roman Reigns, the tribal chief. Good God Almighty, here we go. Don't worry, Slug, you're gonna win, but make him look strong. Anyhow, let's get into NXT from last night. Dakota Kai, Raquel Gonzalez fought Zoe Stark and Io Shirai, and of course Gonzalez gets that pinfall because you're going to build towards her and Io at that pay-per-view. You had Bronson Reed actually fighting and beating LA Knight. So his first big match for LA Knight, and he loses to Bronson Reed. That's a little weird, but they're all going to be, I'm pretty sure, in that NXT North American business for pay-per-view. They announced that the tag team titles will be given to the winner of a triple threat match at Stand and Deliver. We had Cross versus Oni Lorcan, and a pretty good showing here for Oni, but of course, Karrion Kross wins that match. Balor out afterwards. There was a back and forth promo. You know how that thing goes. But yes, they announced that, I think, next week on NXT, we're going to see a 12-man Battle Royal, and the final 6 men in that Battle Royal will advance to a 6-man gauntlet match happening on night 1 of Stand and Deliver, and the winner of that match will face Gargano for that North American title on night 2 of Stand and Deliver. So, you know, setting things up here, because I was wondering who in the hell is he going to fight at that show. I had no idea, and now I still don't know, but hey, we'll see who comes out on top of that match. But hey, Cameron Grimes is in there. Give it to Grimes. Anyhow, so we had a really fast squash match here. It was Walter versus Drake Maverick. And you're like, why would you book that? Whose idea was it to book that? That seems wild to me, but they booked that. And of course, it was a very quick squash, and Tommaso Ciampa out afterwards to challenge Walter for that NXT UK title at Stand and Deliver, and that match is going to happen. No idea where Tim Thatcher is because, you know, the Rona. So those things happened in an outbreak at NXT. Those things took place. But Mercedes Martinez and Aaliyah got a shot at those tag team titles because Aaliyah's partner was injured for reasons. And obviously, Ember and Shotzi retain, but now The Way wants a shot at those women's tag team NXT titles, and I would imagine if you're going to book that match, why wouldn't it be at Stand and Deliver? You have 2 nights of booking, or 2 nights of cards to fill, right? Now, Jordan Devlin took on Kushida, and shockingly pinned Kushida. Obviously, he's heading towards that match with Escobar, and there was some slight distractions here, but the big news, this is what I said, when you have 2 titles, that's what I said weeks ago, months ago, when you have 2 titles, and you have the same of those 2 titles, what do? You have a ladder match, a la WrestleMania 10, and who came out to pull out the ladder but HBK himself, and was like, here you go. So yeah, I'm going to say it's going to be those 2 in a ladder match with both belts on the ladder, and the winner is the true Cruiserweight Champion. But yeah, that's what you should do with that kind of scenario. Historically, it makes sense, and it's a good match. So, Devlin and Santos ladder match at Stand and Deliver. And your main event segment was indeed Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly, with Regal signing where it's going to be an unsanctioned match at that pay-per-view. So, in a, I think he said it was a co-main event. Co-main event. And I'm like, look, there's only one main event when you have wrestling. That's it. It's the main event. And Roman here, nah. Spiked him. Spiked him. The disaster strikes again. 1, 2, 3. That's all she wrote, big dog. Well, well, well. That's 2 out of 3, Mr. Rollins, Mr. Drip. Let's see what you can also deliver. So I took out Ambrose and the big dog. What do you got, Seth? Seems like the only way you can beat me is 3-on-1 or surprise attacks. So 1 win means nothing. Watch your back. You'll be seeing more of us in the future. Okay, is that the end of that feud, or does it continue from there? Or what? CM Punk defended against Mark Henry in the Chamber. And now I'm going to guess that Vicky has nothing for me? Possibly? Yep, nothing. So we learned we should be doing dark matches and not tune-ups. So I'm going to try to do this thing here and see what happens. Perhaps nothing, perhaps something, but Ray Rich does not deserve an entrance, I'm sorry. Moving on to AEW. They followed up on that AEW Dark Elevation angle with Omega and Matt Sydal, and of course Omega beats Matt Sydal, so no shot for him at that title. Hangman Adam Page beat Benoni. Christian was backstage, and we now know Christian's in-ring debut for AEW will indeed be next week against Frankie Kazarian. Now that is a TNA throwback for sure, when it was Christian Cage versus Kazarian in TNA on pay-per-view, I should mention. So those two should put on a great match next week. They are definitely both very capable of doing so. Now, Pinnacle had their in-ring debut. It was FTR and Spears versus the Varsity Blondes and one half of Top Flight. And wouldn't you know it, Pinnacle wins. They have their post-match promo. You know, those kinds of things. Now, AEW did here on the show announce there will be a house show, right, on April the 9th. And you're like, why in the blue hell would they have a house show during a pandemic that is not televised? And then you realize that's the Friday before WrestleMania. That is in between Stand and Deliver and a full crowd, not a full crowd, but a crowd being in town for Mania. Basically, they're taking advantage of all those fans, actual fans, being in town for WrestleMania. So, you know, smart. But there's a non-televised, just house show type matches going on at Daly's Place. I'm not sure what the max thing is for attendance, but hey, it is what it is. Take advantage of fans being in town, even if they shouldn't be, because pandemic. You know how it is. You know how it goes. Power pin. Ray Rich. 1, 2, 3. Simple. Didn't even break a sweat on that BS. William Regal coaching me to greatness. Sunshine. 4 stars. Who can stop the Slug? Oh, look at this. Look at this. I still can't choose Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, Money in the Bank, SummerSlam. So we just had Extreme Rules. Let's skip past Payback. Let's choose Battlegrounds. Let's choose Hell in a Cell. Let's choose TLC. And maybe I'll get stories leading into those pay-per-views. Yes. Batista defeats CM Punk in a tables-only match for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania in April. Well, all right, then. What do we got? What do we got? Keep on working them. Oh, hey, Chris Jericho. Dark matches. Maybe a thing will happen leading towards pay-per-view as we break the walls down. And so there was a Team Taz backstage promo assuring us that everything at Team Taz is fine. Team Taz is okay, don't worry. And Brian Cage, looking all shifty-eyed, was pretty good on that. Like, he doesn't think it's all okay. It's not all there, according to The Machine. But he kind of said, oh yeah, fine, who better? But the body language there was fantastic. Now, QT Marshall, still kind of doing his heading towards heel business, but not quite there just yet, sort of. And he wants a match with Cody next week. And an exhibition match with a currently still arm in a sling Cody. So you know there's going to be some heel business happening in that endeavor. But also, they announced that there will be another show involving AEW talent on TNT, and it will be a reality show with Cody and Brandy, etc., etc. Roads to the Top, I think it's called. And man, TNT is all in on Cody. They had him on the Go Big show. Now he has his own Ms. and Mrs. style of show. And look, if it worked for Total Divas and Bellas and Ms. and Mrs., then why not have it for something with AEW on TNT? I'm not going to watch it, but, you know, if it gets people who aren't normally wrestling fans into wrestling, that's, look, man, more wrestling fans, please. And so it does seem like a Captain Crunch, oops, all Cody type thing. And some folks gonna get mad at that. But hey, I'm not gonna watch it. It's not gonna bother me. It's fine. I'm not that concerned about it, but it was kind of funny to have that on the thing, and I'm like, oh, okay, sure. As long as it's not playing into actual angles on your show, then yeah, fine. Anyhow, Brandon Cutler and the Bucks fought the Lucha Bros and Laredo Kid. And of course, if you bring in Laredo Kid, he's going to get that pinfall. And of course, in this match, Brandon Cutler is going to eat that pinfall. That just seems like, all right, common sense, right? But afterwards, Kenny, losing his mind, wants the Bucks to 2-sweet him. That's not going to happen. So the Elite, at this point, completely in the garbage as a faction. Because Hangman left, he's hanging out with the Dark Order, and now Kenny's out on his own, and alright, yeah, you know. Advancing storylines here and there. Ty Conti beat Nyla Rose, which was kind of shocking, and the Bunny wants a piece of her because she was not in that women's tournament and was mad about it, and she's on Team Matt Hardy, and all of that is happening. The match next week with Orange Cassidy and whatever else, and Miro, is going to be an Arcade Anarchy match. I don't know what that means, how it's going to work, but please don't break the video games. They're good. Don't break them. But they're probably going to break them. So, main event was indeed Darby Allin versus Johnny Hungy, John Silver. And, of course, Darby retains that title. It is too early for him to lose that to somebody like a John Silver. Great match, though. And it looked like Silver perhaps had a shoulder issue during the match. That's unfortunate to see, but that's kind of the nature of wrestling, that anybody can get hurt at any given time. So I'm not surprised by it, but yeah, kind of sucks. And Sting was there at ringside to make sure that the Dark Order did not interfere in that matchup. And that's weird, because Sting's a face, and right now Dark Order are kind of faces. After the unfortunate passing of Brody Lee, like, Dark Order are just kind of faces. Afterwards, the Matt Hardy faction came out to attack Dark Order. So they're obviously heels, and yeah, so that was weird, but hey. They all got into it, and I'm assuming a big faction war with those two. So AEW is really just into this whole faction thing, much like New Japan is into that whole faction thing. So you got Inner Circle fighting Pinnacle, you got Dark Order and the Hardy Party, you know, things happening here on AEW. But Attack Slug, with a 3.5 stars here against Jericho, getting no action, story-wise, whatsoever. Which means tomorrow, the dark matches continue, and maybe, just maybe, I'll see something here as I eventually make my way towards Monday Night Raw. Mysterio defeats Batista's submission-only match. So, alright, cool. I'm Attack Slug. Thanks for watching. See you next time, right here. More videos, and I'm out.